Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Today we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 7, text 28. Just a second. Just a second, I'll be back. Hare Krishna. So Krishna says here, Esham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam drudhavrataha. So Krishna says here, in the previous verses, Krishna talked about the duality. Ichha dvesha samuthena dvandva mohena bharata sarva bhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. So there are two things, ichha and dvesha, desire and hatredness. And one who is bewildered by this duality, they cannot understand supreme absolute truth. And here in this verse he says, Yesham, those people who are jananam punya karmanam, those who have acted piously in previous lives, thereby their papam has become antagatam. Yesham jananam punya karmanam antagatam papam te dvandva moha nirmukta. Only they can remove their dvandva moha, the illusion caused by the dualities. And then bhajante mam dudhavrataha. They can engage in devotional service with determination. So Prabhupada translates this as persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. So you can see here, Prabhupada mentions in the purport two methods. How one can come to this stage where one becomes eligible to engage in the highest perfection of devotional service. The first stage is, or the first method is, to gradually rise to that stage by performing pious activities. Like there are many pious activities like Yagna Dana Tapa. These three are considered pious activities. Yagna means sacrifices, Dana means charity, Tapa means austerity. By performing these pious activities, one's heart is gradually cleansed and one comes to the stage of pure knowledge. And then one crosses that and understands Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead and then engage in thinking about Krishna. So this is the first method, but it takes a very long time. And even then, one has to be fortunate to meet a pure devotee who can guide them about this path of bhakti. The second method Prabhupada mentions here in the purport is this elevation is possible in Krishna consciousness in the association of pure devotees who can deliver one from delusion. So, the simpler method is just by associating with pure devotees. This whole process, which can take a long time, by performing pious activities, accumulating knowledge, then coming to the platform of Krishna consciousness, all of that can happen very quickly in the association of devotees. So, therefore, Bhagavatam says, Mahatsevam dvaramahurvimuktes tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam Mahantaste samachitta prashanta vimanyava suhrudah sadhavoye. So there are, as Bhagavatam mentions here, there are two paths. One is the path to liberation, which is attained by associating with a Mahat Seva, to serving a Mahat or a great devotee. Path of liberation opens. And by associating with a sense gratifier, one is trying to enjoy this life, particularly with the association of opposite gender. By associating with that kind of people, by trying to live that kind of life, you are opening the door for hell. Tamodvaram yoshitam sangi sangam. So these are the two paths mentioned. So by associating with a Mahat, one's door to liberation opens. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita, an interesting incident happened where there is this Haridas Thakur, a great devotee of the Lord, but he happened to be born in a Mohammedan family, but he still takes to Krishna consciousness, particularly of chanting of the holy name. He would chant 300,000 holy names every day, which amounts to 192 malas. So he went to this place called Benapola, and in a solitary place, he constructed a cottage in a solitary forest. And then he had this tulsi plant, and around sitting near the tulsi plant, he would every day chant 192 malas, rounds of Hare Krishna. And then for bodily maintenance, he would go for madhukari, bhiksha, and somebody would give him something. So, and then he was becoming spiritually so influential that all the neighboring people started to worship him. And there was this landholder in that village called Ramachandra Khan. He was the zamindar of the district. He became very envious, and he was unable to tolerate the respect being offered to Haridas, because Haridas Thakur was taking away all the respect. He was eclipsing him in the respect. See the enviousness, as Krishna said in the previous verse. Ichha and Dvesha, these two are the factors which influence and delude us. So he could not tolerate that. And he tried to find some fault to defame Haridas Thakur, but he could not find any fault. And so he planned for an evil scheme where he called for local prostitutes, and he tried to influence them. I'll give you this money. You should deviate Haridas Thakur, attract him, and engage him in illicit activity. And then one prostitute said, "Yes, I will do that. Within 3 days, I will attract the mind of Haridas Thakur." And then Ramchandra Khan said, "Yes, my constable will go with you. And as soon as he sees this activity, he will arrest both of you and bring them to me. And then we can defame him like that." And then this prostitute said, first let me have union with him once, and then second time I shall take your constable. He said, "All right." And then first night she went to the cottage of Haridas Thakur, and she offered obeisances to Tulsi plant. She went to the door of Haridas Thakur and offered him obeisances and stood there and tried to allure him in various poses and ways. and all that. Tried to speak to him in sweet words. Oh, Haridas Thakur, you're a great devotee, great preacher, but your body is also beautifully built, and your youth is just beginning, and no woman can control her mind, and I'm eager to unite with you, and all of this. And Haridas Thakur, he was constantly immersed in the holy name of the Lord, constantly in touch with the Lord. He was not moved at all because he was tasting the higher taste. And then he intelligently, Krishna was guiding him. He said, yes, I shall accept you without fail, but you have to wait until I finish my rounds. Today I have taken this oath. And then the prostitute remained there until he saw the whole, until he completed the rounds, and it became the morning. And she kept on hearing the holy name. And then she left. And then Ramachandra Khan asked what happened. She said, no, 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 that's okay. Today I could not, but I'll certainly this evening I will do. And again the same thing. She came, and again same excuse he gave. She sat at the door, continued to hear the holy name, and the night came to an end. And then Haridas Thakur spoke to her and said, see, I have taken a vow to chant 10 million names in a month, but it's coming to an end. So I thought today I'll be able to finish my performance of that yagna. I tried my best to finish, but tomorrow I'll surely finish, and my vow will be fulfilled, and then we can enjoy. And again she went back and told the same. And then again she came, and then he continued to chant. And then you see, by this association and this process, the prostitute's mind has changed, and now she became purified, and she fell at the lotus feet of Haridas Thakur, and she started to confess about the whole plan of Ramachandra Khan. And so, please be merciful unto me, and all that. And Haridas Thakur said, yes, I know. I know about this conspiracy. He's just an ignorant fool. He was planning his intrigue against me. I would have left this place immediately. But because you came to me, I stayed here for 3 days to deliver you. And then the prostitute, she surrendered to him and said, you please be my spiritual master and instruct me in my duty. And then Haridas Thakur advises her, you should immediately go home and distribute whatever property you have to the Brahmanas, and you come back to this place and stay here forever in Krishna consciousness. Chant Hare Krishna mantra continuously, and just serve the Tulsi Maharani by watering her and offering prayers to her. And in this way, you will very soon get the opportunity to be sheltered at the lotus feet of Krishna. And then Haridas Thakur left the place. And so she followed the same advice. She, in fact, even shaved her head clean, and she started to chant. She worshipped the Tulsi plant. And instead of eating regularly, she ate whatever was received as alms. She would fast if nothing was received. So, by eating frugally and fasting, she conquered her senses. And as soon as her senses were controlled, and by the chanting this process, chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, the symptoms of love of Godhead appeared, and she became a celebrated devotee. And many stalwart Vaishnavas would come to see her. And seeing the reformation, transformation of this person, everyone was astonished. And everyone glorified the influence of Haridas Thakur and offered him obeisances. So, this is the effect of associating with a great devotee. On the other hand, you see Ramachandra Khan, he caused a great offense at the lotus feet of a great devotee, and that offense That seed of offense was germinating, and later it became a tree. And when it fructified, Ramachandra Khan had to eat its fruits. So, what happened was after that time, Lord Nityananda came to Bengal again to preach love of Godhead, devotional service. So, he began touring all over the country. And as part of that, he came to this village and came to this house of Ramachandra Khan. And outside the house, there was this Durga Mantap altar. So he sat down there for his preaching, and a lot of crowd came. And Ramachandra Khan was inside. And he sent the servant to Nityananda and said, had him say to Nityananda, "Oh, my dear sir, Ramachandra Khan sent me here. He said you should be accommodated in some common man's house. You might go to some milkman's house and where there is cowshed, uh, which is spacious. They found an excuse. This mandap is insufficient for you. You have many followers and all that." So he understood that he didn't want, Ramachandra Khan wanted to send them away. And Nityananda Prabhu said, "Oh, this Ramachandra Khan, yes, he spoke rightly. This place is not fit for me. It is fit for cow killing meat eaters." And then he angrily left that place. And then Ramachandra Khan, he felt happy. He ordered the servant to dig up the place where Nityananda Prabhu was sitting, the place which had become purified. He wanted to be cleansed, thinking it had become contaminated. Just imagine the mentality of Ramachandra Khan. He sprinkled and smeared with water mixed with cow dung and all of that. But then his business, he had a questionable business. He was avoiding paying taxes to the government. So the government's minister of finance, he understood that, came to his residence, and this minister, the Mohammedan minister, made his residence in the Durga Mandap of that Ramachandra Khan, where he killed a cow and cooked the meat at that very place. And he arrested Ramachandra Khan along with his wife and sons. And then he continuously plundered the house and village for 3 days. So, like that, and it became, the whole village remained deserted for many days because of one person. See, one devotee can change the whole surrounding, or one offender, one atheist, one blasphemer, one envious person can also cause harm to the whole surrounding. So the association is very important. Association of this right devotee. Because the pure devotee, just like Haridas Thakur tricked her by giving her a chance to hear the holy name of the Lord, so pure devotees find ways and means to give Krishna association, to engage devotees in serving Krishna, no matter how low born or fallen one may be. Just like Srila Prabhupada, he was the pure devotee of the Lord, representative of the Lord. He came to this place, the US, where there had no culture, no inkling of culture, Vedic culture, and engaged in all four sinful activities, low born. But still, he gave them his association, engaged them in serving Krishna, in chanting Krishna's name. And then they became freed from the reactions of sinful activities. And they were engaged in serving the Lord with dhrudavrataha, antagatam papam, jananam, punyakarmanam. This is the process for engaging the fallen souls in devotional service. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, एक कृष्ण नाम करे सर्व पाप नाशा प्रेमेरा कारण भक्ति करे न prakasha. What it means is simply एक कृष्ण नाम करे, simply chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without offenses vanquishes all sinful activities, sarva papa nasha, and thus the premera karana, the pure devotional service which is the cause of love of Godhead, becomes manifest. Krishna bhakti karena prakasha. So when one chants the Hare Krishna mantra, one can get relieved from the reactions of their sinful activities. Only by chanting Krishna's name is this possible. Kirtana deva Krishnasya mukta sangaha param rajet. So if one always chants the holy name of Krishna, provided one chants offenselessly means one should understand there are 10 offenses to the holy name. We'll not go into that today, but if you come to temple or you can look online as well, what are the 10 offenses to the holy name, chanting the holy name of Krishna, the Hare Krishna mantra? So if one can avoid those offenses and takes to the chanting of the holy name and takes a resolve not to commit further sinful activities, this way one can get purified, and then that devotional service arouses, and that causes the awakening of our dormant love of Krishna. In another pastime as well, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we can see there was one personality called Amogha. He was attached to fault finding. So one time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was invited for lunch in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. This Amogha happened to be the son-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, out of love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, Jagannath himself. So out of love, he cooked many items and fed him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu resisted, I'm a sannyasi, I cannot eat all this. But somehow he had to oblige because of the love of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who knew that he was Krishna himself. So he obliged, being subordinate to the love of his devotees. But then Amogha, he was finding trying to find the opportunity how he can find fault. And even though Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was guarding the door, so nobody like that could come. Especially, he knew his son-in-law was blasphemous and fault finder. But somehow, when he went inside to serve, somehow he sneaked in and he saw all these things being served and eaten by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He started to blaspheme and criticize. Oh my God, this much food is sufficient to satisfy a dozen people. He is eating alone. Like that, he started to criticize. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya saw that, and he started to chase him with a stick. And he could not run faster. He was running away, and then it was a disaster for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya because he called Mahaprabhu for lunch invitation and had him undergo this kind of treatment. And he became very upset and started to call ill names, and he said this is blasphemy, and let my daughter become a widow. He's not fit to live after this blasphemy and all these kind of things. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unmoved. It's okay, what he has said is correct only. No, sannyasi should not be eating so much. It's not blasphemy. Don't worry. So he tried to console Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who could not be consoled. But then, after that, they finished their formalities and Mahaprabhu went back. And then they found the news that he, this Amogha, he fell sick with cholera. At that time, it was a deadly disease, and he was dying of that cholera. And then Sarvabhauma understood that this is the effect of hurting a great personality. Bhagavatam confirms that if one hurts, insults, blasphemes a great personality, all these things become nullified, all their great assets. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, out of mercy on Amogha, being a close associate and relative of his own devotee, he goes to his place, and then he talks to him and puts his hand on his heart and says, see, this heart of a Brahmana is by nature very clean, and therefore it is a proper place for Krishna to sit. But why have you allowed this Chandala of jealousy to sit here? See again that enviousness, just like Ramachandra Khan, that enviousness hurt him only. It did not hurt others. Again, Amogha, it hurt him only. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, this heart is meant for Krishna's residence. This jealousy has no place here. Why you have contaminated a most purified place? But because of the association of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, all your contamination is now vanquished. And therefore you are saved. Just get up and chant Hare Krishna mantra. Krishna will bestow your mercy. And then by the touch of the Lord, Amogha, who was on his deathbed, he immediately stood up and began to chant the holy name of Krishna. And he became mad with ecstatic love and began to dance emotionally. So, again, you can see how the power of association of a devotee or the Lord, or particularly by the chanting of holy name, this is the fastest method to become free from all contamination. Antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam. So the association of pure devotee and the chanting of the holy name are the prescribed methods by which one can get rid of all their sinful activities and come to the stage of purity, and thereby engaging in bhajante drudabrataha, serving the Lord with firm determination. Let's stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.